challenge of what he termed Dimagi Naxals. Speaking from the Red Fort, the Prime Minister said India has succeeded in breaking the back of armed Naxalism after decades of bloodshed that claimed more than 12,000 lives, including over 3,500 security personnel. He recalled that entire regions once lived under the shadow of fear, violence and the gun, and said Maoist violence is now taking its last breath. But even as he celebrated the security change, the Prime Minister issued a warning. He said while armed Naxals have been pushed out of the jungles, those carrying a Maoist mindset continue to look for opportunities to spread unrest, violence and misinformation. Calling them Dimagi Naxals, he urged citizens to identify and isolate such elements while asking the youth to stay connected with the mainstream and nation building. The remarks have triggered a political debate. BJP leaders say India has defeated those who sought to weaken the country from within, while the Congress has questioned the terminology and accused the government of creating new labels for political opponents. The contrast on the ground is also striking. Regions once synonymous with guns, fear and insurgency are now witnessing sporting events, cultural festivals and fashion shows. So who is it then that the Prime Minister is referring to? Who is attempting to reignite the flame in the Red Corridor? Who benefits from this? Well, let's first listen in to what Prime Minister Modi said today.
आज मुझे खुशी है कि नक्सली माओवादी हिंसा आखिरी सांस भी शायद रहने की अब तो ताकत नहीं रही है। जहां पर कभी धरती रक्त रंजित रहा करती थी, आज उसी नक्सल क्षेत्रों में, उसी इलाकों में नक्सल मुक्त होने के कारण विकास, विश्वास और प्रयास का तिरंगा लहरा रहा है। हथियारी नक्सल तो गए, लेकिन दिमागी नक्सल, ये दिमागी नक्सल मौके की तलाश में है, हिंसा अराजकता के वो रास्ते खोज रहे हैं, समाज को गलत राह पर घसीटने के लिए भांति भांति के दांव कर रहे हैं। इन दिमागी नक्सलियों को पहचानना होगा, इन दिमागी नक्सलियों को आइसोलेट करना होगा।
Joining us live in the broadcast is Ambassador Deepak Vora, former diplomat. We also have Advocate Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, live with us. Pathikrit Payan, international affairs expert, joins us live. Radlakshmi Joshi, political analyst, is also with us on the broadcast. Let me begin with you first, Ambassador Deepak Vora. A very important address by Prime Minister Modi on the country's 80th Independence Day. He spoke on a host of issues, of course, on youth, AI, industry, but also a warning for countrymen to guard against those the Prime Minister termed are now Dimagi Naxals. Naxalism may have been eradicated from India. We are finally rid of the Maoist menace which has plagued us for many, many years. There are fashion shows happening with former Maoists walking in them. There is the new Bastar model as well, Ambassador Vora. But Dimagi Naxals are still there in our country. Who is the Prime Minister referring to and how do we guard against them?
Thank you very much, sir. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear.
Thank you. Always, I can't see you, but nevertheless, I presume you're there. Always a pleasure to be with you on your amazing channel, and welcome to Ms. Joshi, Mr. Payne, and Mr. Thapar, who know much more about this issue. I do. Actually, in 55 years, I haven't spoken about this, but I'm happy to talk about it today. I used to work, I joined a college in 1967 called St. Stephen's College in Delhi. What is the origin of the term Naxalite? I don't know whether our colleagues are aware. This was a left-wing insurgency that began the same year, 67, Naxalbari, West Bengal, advocating armed struggle inspired by Mao's China. And their slogans, sir, were Lal Salam and Chairman Mao is our chairman. And as president of the college union, I had opposed this. So they burst into my hostel room and I was mauled. I was beaten very badly. Chakpati will tell you all about it. The chat GPT would spent some days in hospital. So for me, it was a personal catharsis when Prime Minister referred to the urban Naxals. It still hurts. Some of them, of course, they were all from St. Stephen's. 15 or 20 of them. Then they went off to Bihar to become revolutionaries. The Biharis thrashed the daylights out of them, so they came running back, joined college. Some of them went into the IAS and so on. And the ringleader died. I don't know how. Good riddance. So when he's talking about Mansik or urban mental Naxalites or urban Naxalites. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and thank you, sir, for this reference because it was for me a personal catharsis. He was talking about people who don't have India's interests at heart. I'm not going to name any names. You know this better than I do, sir. You're one of the best journalists we have in the country. He's talking about people who oppose everything that India wants to do. Let me tell you who they are. Let me give you just 3 instances, then I'll hold my peace. I don't know if you remember a project called Kundankalam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu, delayed by several years because these fellows were opposing it. Environmental, this, that, and the other. I went there, sir. Do you know what? Ma'am, Mr. Joshi, Mr. Thapar, Mr. Payne? I met the people who were involved in the movement. And what they told me was that 90% of those involved had got jobs in the plant. The ringleaders, the other 10%, actually fell at my feet and said, you know these guys, can you get us jobs? Number one. It was delayed by several years. Number two, you've probably heard of the Sardar Sarovar project on the Narmada, first proposed by a fellow called Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in 1946. So it was delayed by almost 50 years because of this condition, that condition. Ultimately, the Supreme Court had to intervene, and it's now successful. The argument was that the locals would lose their livelihood. Arrant nonsense. I urge you to go there. 5 kilometers short of the project, your car will be parked. You will go in an electric auto rickshaw driven by a tribal woman. There's also the possibility of a homestay in their homes with air conditioning, with a very clean bed, attached bath,
Yes.
and with the internet. Let me complete, sir, with the internet. And you'll find that that is also extremely comfortable. These people all have jobs. And finally, I'm talking about the Great Nicobar project. For me, it's vital to control the Straits of Malacca. And again, these jokers are screaming about it. These are the urban Naxalites. Chairman Mao is my chairman, and today's ting-tong, ping-pong, ding-ling, ding-ling is our man. No. India is racing ahead. You guys are holding us back. So you know who the prime minister.
So these are those that India, of course, needs to guard against. These are those that are holding India back and are, of course, not letting us race ahead to the dream of a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Manasvi Thapar, your response to Deepak Vora. What did you make of Prime Minister Modi's warning today to guard against Dimagi Naxals? Are these the new Naxals now? Is this the new Maoism? Armed revolution may be dead, but is there still a revolution on to try and stop the growth rate and stop India from becoming a developed nation?
No one can stop the growth of India. I think the India story is something which have to go to the people of India, and 1.4 billion minds are very strong that any government or any prime minister of 14 prime ministers India have had, we can't give the growth of India to the 14 prime ministers. I think it is too little of India to give credit to any prime minister that we are growing because of one particular prime minister, or we are not growing because of one particular ideology or a prime minister. I think India is much bigger than that. India has survived thousands of civilization, thousands of traitors who have been in India, outside India, inside India. So India is unstoppable. There is no doubt about it. And in a democracy, I think dissent is something which should not be said at any kind of name should be given. I think dissent is something which gives power to the democracy. Asking question to the government is nationalistic, and if we don't ask question to the government, we will be puppets of governments, and we will have to say yes, like we had puppets during the British Raj also. So there were puppets during that time in India also, known as Jechans of various Jechans in various states of our country, who were just there to support the Britishers. And now, if we, in the similar pattern, if we don't question the government, I think we are at the very wrong end of things. From the Red Fort, the Prime Minister, which also heads the largest political party of the country, which is having a very vast majority in the parliament, I don't think that India is coming from a weaker position, and Prime Minister should not worry about that his story could be a weaker story. He has been the third continuously for the third consecutive term. He's there as a prime minister, a strong prime minister. There would be issues, there would be questions to be asked to him, but he does not have to be insecure about the things that asking questions will make people in democracy urban Naxals or Dimagi Naxals. Having a Dimag is a great proprietary of our country, and questioning the government is a greater thing in a democracy. So he should not be worried about these things. I think he should be confident that people are asking questions to him and people are asking accountability, asking transparency, and this is how a great nation will be built. That is why people are electing him. Bar people are believing in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That Congress could not deliver it. Congress was not answering the questions raised by them, and I think the similar pattern is coming back. He should be confident that yes, questions will be asked. We have right to information, but before
No, but
that,
is there no, no? But is there a difference between demanding accountability, asking questions, and opposing for the sake of opposing, bulldozing Parliament? Being Andolan GVs, just picking up any cause, and also, of course, trying to pretend that it is cool to oppose. Is there a difference, a distinction, Manasvi, which must be drawn between them?
It's a great question. I feel since 2014, let's only account till 2014 to 26. I think no one has bulldozed the Parliament. Further, Andolan GVs पे देश नहीं जीवित रहता. There would be people who will be asking questions, but I don't understand. Asking questions will slow the growth rate of my country. Is my country so fragile? Is my Prime Minister so fragile? No. I don't think my Prime Minister is coming from a weaker position. Even Prime Minister should not believe that he's coming from a weaker position. I don't know who guided him that he has to speak this from the Lal Killa and say that Dimagi GV, Dimagi Naxal हमारे देश की growth रोक रहे हैं. I think that's a completely wrong narrative. 80 years of India, and we are saying we are still been lagged by because some people are Naxals in our country. No, these are not even 1% of my population of my country, and I don't believe that these people who would be armed with whatever ammunitions they would have, they would slow the growth rate of my country. That's
okay. Patrikrit Pine, respond to that. Patrikrit Pine, respond to that. This was not necessary. Says Manas P. Thapad, he doesn't believe any such Dimagi Naxals exist in our country, and they're not harming India's growth rate according to. Okay.
So let me tell something to Manas P. In the 1970s, Congress had a chief minister in West Bengal. His name was Siddhartha Shankar Rai. He did something called the most aggressive, iron-fisted, crackdown by the state on the Naxals of Bengal, who actually radicalized the students, destroyed that state, and the same very Congress today actually is mollycoddling with the same Naxalites who were completely wiped out by Siddhartha Shankar Rai, their chosen chief minister of Bengal. Number two, there were 180 districts of India who were completely under control of the Maoists. I hope Manasvi is aware of that. And in those 180 districts, the likes of Arundhati Roy used to go and say, oh, Maoists, the brutal Maoists that they really are. But according to Arundhati Roy, they were Gandhians with guns. I'll tell you what Gandhian with gun is all about. In 2015, there was a girl called Sanjita Kumari, 20 years of age in Jharkhand. She was hanged by the Maoists upside down, kept for 7 days. You know why? Because she wanted to quit Maoism and wanted to study. And there are several hundred such cases to the kangaroo courts where they used to behead. I don't think anybody except for Deepak Bora has gone to those places among the people over here. I have been involved in a crossfire. I know the kind of brutality the Maoists do. And there is a huge difference what the perception they create in cities like Delhi. Number three, in the heart of West Bengal, 60,000 factories have been destroyed by the Dimagi Naxals, who in the name of talking about labor welfare, closed down 60,000 of them, big, large, small. There are industrialists who were publicly humiliated, one after another. Every company left Bengal through 1970s and 80s and 90s. And see, that's the reason every state would have a Bengali community. Every city has a Bengali community. These are the same Bengalis who had to leave their, state to go work somewhere else, thanks to those Dimagi Naxalis. That's the reality that we are dealing with. See, the kind of funding that comes from abroad, from the likes of Thakur Foundation, the so-called Maoists and the so-called liberals. Basically, the most illiberal people are the Maoists and these Naxalites. They have no problem taking money from the capitalist philanthropists if they have to take a stand against India. I mean, look at what happened with the kinds of Dipke doing that cockroach Janata Party protest. You wanted to protest on NEET? Where was the need to, abuse and humiliate Ram by calling it Sita Ki Pati? And he was clapping, he was cheering. Where was the need to talk about, Premanand Maharaj ji? Where was the need to talk about Umar Khalid and Article 370? Where was, and Yogendra Yadav said, Manasvi ji, with all due respect, he said, Sansad se nahi, sadak se chalega. You want that? Because those who wanted to barge into the parliament, tomorrow they'll barge into your home, because I am a witness to that. Though he said, Abhi election se nahi, resistance se chalega. And if the government had been really brutal, if the government had been illiberal, they would have dealt with all these things in a different way, including the manner in which Rahul Gandhi mocked and humiliated the entire foreign policy of India, 2 days back. But the government has shown enough resilience, because that's what the government is supposed to do. Today, I'm telling you, do you want a situation where factories get shut? That is what is problem. Look, I know the kind of situation that is there in some of these states because of the Maoists. And in the same region of Chhattisgarh, one of the most Maoist-infested zone, where they were actually being funded by the NGOs, today, those Maoist girls were not killed by Modi government. They were given a second chance. They left Lenin and they wore linen-made Indian traditional attire and walked on the ramp. That is the transformation, Manusvi ji, and that is what I'm saying. Nobody says you can't ask questions, criticize the government 100 times, no problem with that. But when you want to destroy institutions, infrastructure, the idea of India with your violent approach, then be ready for violence by the state. Back to you.
All right. Let me, in fact, quickly also rope in Radlakshmi Joshi on this debate that has erupted after Prime Minister Modi's message on Dimagi Naxals. Radlakshmi Joshi, a host of reactions, of course, have poured in through the day. You've heard some of them on the panel as well. What do you make of his reference to Dimagi Naxals? Who is the Prime Minister warning against, and how must we protect ourselves from Dimagi Naxals? How do you believe they are harming India? Radlakshmi Joshi, are they or are they not? Manasvi Thapar doesn't believe they.
Very firstly, Jai Hind to you, Uday, and a very happy Independence Day to all my co-panelists and all your viewers. And yes, this thing about Dimagi Naxal, I think, let me go back to what our former CDS, the late Bipin Rawat ji, he had said. He had spoken about a 2.5 front war. Now, today it's a 3.5 front war, because then we are talking about today Pakistan, Bangladesh and China. And the half front that he was talking about was the internal disturbance. Now, the internal disturbance, yes, one part of it is in Kashmir, and which is the religion is being used as a tool. And here in these Naxal areas, that the only difference is that the ideology is being used as a tool. Now the thing is that this kind of a dissent is okay, Uday, in democracy. Yes, everybody is entitled to have dissent. But then when a dissent is intentionally created and purposely created by way of misinformation, misleading and kind of fear-mongering to intentionally create a situation of anarchy, that is a matter of concern. And if somebody thinks that something that is about Naxalism or something that is bound to cause anarchy is something that is not, that should not be concerning, or that is a matter of insecurity, I think they're either they're blissfully unaware of the situation, or they're intentionally and selectively ignoring the situation. So it is the fact that at the protest at Jantar Mantar, like Mr. Pratikrit very, he pointed it out very accurately, that all these elements, very selectively, they were only pointing out to certain issues, and that too, they were not talking about need, or they were not talking about exams, they were not talking about students, or any of the solutions that would address those issues. Now look at the situation in Jharkhand now today, for example. Now the situation there is, it's the entire system that is wrong there. In 26 years of the existence of Jharkhand, they've had only 13 exams for recruitment. They don't even have exams every year. Students don't know if they'll be even eligible by the time those exams are conducted and the results are declared. So there are a lot of issues there. But very, very selectively and very blissfully, the very same people who are up in arms in Jantar Mantar speaking about the resignation of Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, they're so blissfully unaware there. So why the selectivity? So it is quite obvious that, this thing about a regime change. Now there were people who are talking about how, we will burn down the parliament and we will create a Nepal kind of a situation.
Okay.
Do you even know what is happening in Nepal? Do you know what happened there? The way in which the anarchists had treated the entire situation. They were not Gen Z. They were not students. They were anarchists. The students didn't even understand when the entire thing was hijacked by people who were extremely, there were anti-social elements there. So now even in Jantar Mantar, the similar situation had happened, and genuine students, young minors, they were trapped by these anti-social elements.
Okay.
And it is shocking how these people can actually say that the PM cannot and should not be speaking about this. This is a Dimagi Naxalism where they are intentionally trying
let me
to
bring in Ambassador
delete
Deepak
this
Vora,
thing.
because Manasvi Thapar did rebut a lot of what you said earlier, Deepak Vora. I'll allow you a chance to also respond to him. And the fact also is, Ambassador Deepak Vora, that we are seeing how much change has happened after ridding the country of Naxalism. We're seeing fashion shows with Maoists on the ramp. We're seeing, of course, how tourism is coming to Chhattisgarh. Jobs are being created in Bastar, which was an area plagued by violence earlier. Imagine what will happen if we rid our country of Dimagi Naxals as well.
Yeah, well, I don't need to rebut what anybody says. As the gentleman said, that we can ask questions and we can express our opinion. So we are at different levels. But may I just say that what the Prime Minister said today about mental Naxalism, it's a very dangerous philosophy. We've managed to eliminate the physical part of it, the violence when they went around killing people, 7,000 people were killed. But the mindset of these people oppose anything that takes India forward. You can argue whether it's environmental or it's tribal welfare or it's whatever. I don't know how many of you have been to Andaman Nicobar. I have. Several times. I've lived there. So to Mr. Thapar, sir, open your eyes, travel across the country and see what is happening. Sitting in the studio of NewsX and pontificating about asking questions, and nobody's denying you the right to ask questions. But when someone from your family becomes a victim, please come back and tell us, oh, this is freedom of expression. Then we will believe you. Till then, sir, what Mr. Payne has said, and he was brilliant. Ms. Joshi has said she was outstanding. I'll just rest my case by saying that anyone who opposes, for whatever reason, with foreign funding, which we know about, the inexorable march of India to its magnificent future, to Viksit Bharat, I will not be around, so I'll be 96 if I wait till 2047. I'm 75 now, 53 years in diplomacy. What I do want is Viksit Bharat to come much before 2047. I hope it comes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, Manasvi Thapar, yes, I will allow you a chance to respond, and yes, you can ask questions of Deepak Vora if you want to. He's
No, I don't have any questions for him. I respect him a lot, and he would while sitting in his AC cabin could say that I have not traveled the country, and he could say anything whatever he has, because that's what freedom of expression is. But that will not make him Naxal or either me Naxal by accepting his comments. The reality is, my belief is very clear that India is unstoppable, and previous panelists also said that in Chhattisgarh, in West Bengal, in Odisha, Naxals were there, but that's why people eradicated Congress Sarkar. That's why people eradicated other Sarkars. They have trusted BJP, and even after trusting BJP, if we are still believing that Naxalism is there, so there is some kind of weakness in BJP also. This is the question. This is the moot question.
No, but this is an ideological war that Prime Minister is referring to. He's not saying that Naxalism is back on ground. That is something that has been eradicated.
Also, I'll tell you, if any individual who's strong in communication, it is the Prime Minister. There is no two ways about it. And I don't believe Yogendra Yadav could lead a march to anywhere. He cannot lead a march from his society to.
No, but no one has named anything. Are you acknowledging that Yogendra Yadav is a Dimagi Naxal? Are you saying that?
No, Mr. Pane said that Yogendra Yadav was saying that. So my point is, no individual is bigger than any individual in my country. So let's not make these individuals who would have a different ideology bigger than my country, which is unstoppable. So let's believe in
Manasvi, we are not debating about differences of opinion. I deeply respect your views, but the only issue is this: when 75 CRPF Jawans get massacred in Dantewara and Chhattisgarh, if some students in JNU are celebrating that is Dimagi Naxalism. When you are happy that the state police forces are getting killed, that is Dimagi Naxalism. When you have no solutions in place, tell me.
There's no doubt
Please
about
let me finish. When this entire CJP protest happened, tell me one suggestion which came from them, that what has to be done in terms of reforming the education system.
Allow me to respond.
The NTA was dismantled. Was it their suggestion? Did they acknowledge that it was only in 2024 that there was a
Okay, Manasvi Thapar coming back in.
passed on examination?
Yes, Manasvi.
I agree to whatever Mr. Pane says about CJP, that it was hijacked, it was taken, all the questions which were not related to NEET were asked. But then what was the reason for Dharmendra Pradhan to resign? He should not have resigned. While you can understand that none of the questions were related to
I
NEET.
have no problem with him resigning. I have no problem. But when you want to make India Nepal, I have a problem with that. When you want to make India Nepal, I have a problem with that. I have no problem if you ask for a resignation.
First of all, India cannot become Nepal. Let's not.
Oh yes, somebody tried. Somebody attempted that, sir.
No one can try that. No, it is impossible. With the 1.4 population country, with so many brains, and most of them are 10 crores of members are BJP Karyakarta. You think that can happen? You think BJP?
If they wanted to see how it happened in Bangladesh. See how it happened in Bangladesh. They took over.
The goodness of India and the greatness of our voters are, we cannot let that happen. Why are you believing that India is so weak it can become Bangladesh? Pakistan,
Okay, Radhalakshmi Joshi also coming in. Yes, Radhalakshmi Joshi. Radhalakshmi
Trust our
Joshi.
country, trust our voters.
Radhalakshmi Joshi.
Yeah,
Why just a minute.
Radhalakshmi Joshi. Radhalakshmi Joshi, are there some who will be happy if Maoism returns, if Naxalism returns to India? Are there some who will be happy with that?
Yes, absolutely, Uday. See, let me tell you, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been constantly saying that kerosene har jagah छिड़क दिया है, this is just a matter of a spark. And then you have seen repeated attempts, whether it be about the CAA protest where there was this misinformation, people were led to believe that they will be sent to concentration camps. Was that ever the plan? Was that going to happen? Did that happen? No. What happened to the hijab protest? What happened to the triple talaq bill? So all of this, there was a lot of misinformation. That this has been happening repeatedly, Uday. And today you see that Meta has been intentionally blocking all the videos that are connected to the Prime Minister, that are connected to Jharkhand, and they're only showing videos that are connected to Jantar Mantar. So this is a very concerted effort for a regime change. So this is something that people are intentionally trying to do, this regime change, and that is a matter of concern.
Ambassador Deepak, I'll allow you the last word.
Was not nice.
Yes, Manasvi, 10 seconds, then Ambassador Vora, last word. Yes, Manasvi.
I think if the information what Joshi ji has about Meta blocking us, I think we should block Meta. We should ban Meta. The largest users of Meta are Indians, and we cannot let our Prime Minister.
No, but who's banning Meta? There are discrepancies for which they've been summoned. Who's banning them?
No, I'm saying that we should give them a lesson. We should not have a love letter ki summons de aur
they have been summoned. They have been summoned, and they have apologized. They have accepted it. They have admitted it. It is not as if people are making this up. They have admitted it. This was happening. Now the problem with Meta is, the problem with any of these social media things is that this is exactly what happened in Nepal.
Okay.
Uday, that is in Nepal.
Okay, Ambassador Deepak Vora, last word to you. I'm out of time. Last word to you, Ambassador Vora.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I conclude with a couplet from a film called Talaq, 1950. None of you was born then. I was not born. I was born in 51. And the words are, कहनी है एक बात मुझे इस देश में रहने वालों से, संभल के रहना अपने घर में छिपे हुए गद्दारों से. That's all that I'd like to say.
All right. Thank you very much to all our guests for joining us. Thank you to our viewers for being with us as well. A happy Independence Day once again to all watching. We're taking a short break.